Shalom. Before I begin, I want to give our praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. I'm on the city of Apostle, that's a great millstone. Shalom to the I can't teach this word about the four corners and true sincerity. I'm back with another lesson through the Spirit by Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. And loving to be edifying unto the elect of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. All right, the topic of this lesson, it's really just going into how the Lord is controlling, how the Lord is in the midst of the battle, or controlling, it. All right, when I'm talking about the battle, talking about these nations are going at it with each other. All right, the Lord is, Mustereth, the host of the battle, I should say. All right, because that's how the scripture, goes. All right, before I really get into the lesson, the name of God is Yahweh. It's not just God, it's Yahweh, which means He is or He exists. The name of His Son is Yahweh Shai, which means He saves or He delivers. All right, we're living in the end times, as you can see. Our nations are warring with each other. There's wars and rumors of wars. All right, and like Yahweh Shai, the Son of God said, the end is not yet, but the end is very near. All right, when we see major nations like America and Iran and Russia and Israel get into action, to this extent, we know that it is very, very near. We're just waiting upon the full implementation. Slakia. The word slipping me. The full implementation. Of the mark of the beast, or I'm getting a tongue twister, but you understand. We're waiting for the full implement of the mark of the beast. Okay, because the Lord said He's bound by His word. All right, He's not a man that He should lie. So, certain things that must happen, like the mark of the beast, which is which is going to be a physical thing, not sin, not sleeping with white women, not peanut butter jelly sandwiches, not it's not what these different false camps say it is. Going to be an actual physical thing, like how Elon Musk has his Neuralink, and these other companies are making microchips, and they have it. You have citizens have it within themselves, where they're able to open their homes and cars and etc. That's just the beginning of it. But we're waiting on a worldwide scale when it's made mandatory. That's when we know that the day of the Lord is any day now. All right, but I'm gonna start with Isaiah. I should have got an article as well, but the Spirit just helped me to just make the lesson. It's Isaiah 13 and 4. It says, the noise of a multitude in the high mountains, like as of a great people, a multitude of noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord Yahweh hosts, Mustereth, the host of battle. So the Lord Mustereth, the host of the battle. All right, and let's go into that word, Mustereth. It is ultimately to mean to attend to muster, to number, reckon, visit, punish, appoint, look after, care for, look about for, to visit, or be needed, miss, be lacking, to be appointed. All right, it says called up, be called, to be called to account, to set over, make overseer, appoint an overseer, to commit and trust, commit for care. Numbered, mustering, expense. That's a lot of definitions. Okay. Delivered, to keep. All right. Overseer. All right. Set. Or it says set and it says over. All right. So the Lord is the one making these nations go at it with each other. You had, what was his name? I think it was Ben Carson, the Edomite. He talked about how, he was getting questioned, He does interviews with high officials and etc. He does current events, but he's probably controlled as well. But he was talking about how people were saying that Israel is causing America to go into this war with Iran and etc. Yes, that is true. He denied it. He was like, he's known Trump for a long time. He's not a person that he would, or I only feel him as an Edomite. He said, he's known Trump for a very long time. He's not one that will be forced, into doing anything. All right, whether you know the guy or not, the Lord is controlling it. So it doesn't matter what you think, how well you think Trump to, think he won't do something or etc. People think a lot of things, but at the end of the day, the will of the Lord, will be done. Scriptures talk about how the Lord, controls man's will. So it doesn't matter what you think, no matter how you feel about a situation. Whatsoever. Turn. I'll be spelling it wrong. There you go, Psalm 21. And when it says, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord Yahweh, as the rivers of water eternate whatsoever you will. So no matter what you think, how well you know Trump, if the Lord want one nation to go to war with each other, he's gonna cause that to happen no matter what plans they may have. Because you even had Trump talking about, oh, we don't want war, we want to have peace. He's gonna be the new king of peace, and he's gonna establish peace, he's gonna stop all these wars. But here you go, he's in another war entirely. And it seems like, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. That's how you know it's Yahweh Shemel Shai controlling it behind the scenes. Everything is being drawn to prophecy. Everything operates on prophecy and on the will of Yahweh Shemel Shai. This is Isaiah 55. And 8 says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord Yahweh. It says, for as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So as the Lord is on a totally different level. It says, for as the rain coming down and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower and bread to the eater. So shall my word be that go forth out of my mouth, and it shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. So whatever the Lord said he's going to do, he will do it. And it will happen, because it's, that's God. It's, you can't, control it. The Lord is, number one, the Father of spirits. He's behind the scenes, via, these different angels and spirits controlling things. How the Lord wants to do it. Even with the war, who wants, really thinking about it, who wants a World War III where multiple nukes are flying from different countries, seemingly, you would look at that situation like, no, that's the end of the world. Nobody's going to be left alive. But, the will of the Lord is for nations to shoot, nukes at each other. But it's not going to be the end of the world, but it's going to be, the end of their world, but it's going to be the beginning of ours. It's ultimately for the controversy of Zion. That's why nations are going to war with each other. So we don't look at this situation as if it's negative. It's really, a positive. Because what did the Lord say in Zephaniah 3:8? Zephaniah 3:8 says, therefore wait ye upon me. Who's the Lord telling to wait? Us, the elect. Lord willing, I'm a part of that number. Lord willing, we are part of that number. Those that's listening and, seeking the Lord in truth and sincerity. Because we're the ones that's sighing and crying for all the abominations, that's being done in the midst thereof. It says, saith the Lord Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the praise. So we, wait, for the Lord to rise up. So, we wait for the Lord to rise up. Because our scriptures told us in Deuteronomy, we were going to Egypt again, and no man shall, buy you, meaning no man's going to save us. So we have to wait upon Yahweh Shai, because he's going to be the one to truly, vindicate us and, give us that, that expected, ending. In ruling in righteousness. Not just one kingdom going into another and the earth still being in wickedness, but one kingdom going into another kingdom and then the whole earth being, under a righteous order. It says, the fire of my jealousy. So again, this is the will of Yahweh Shemel Shai. His will be done. It says this is he's determined, to do this, to gather these nations in the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is in the Middle East. That's why there's so much tension in the Middle East. To gather them, to judge them, for the controversy of Zion, because he's angry. Because why they came against the apple of the Lord's eye. They done tried the Lord and made him a Edomite and shit like that. So the Lord is, very angry, and the things that they do behind the scenes, All right, to Jake, that we don't, that us, you know, we don't know about, but we know definitely they doing it. We don't have physical proof, but we know they doing it via the scriptures through their witchcrafts and sacrifices and etc. All right, to their, you know, their idols that they pray to and etc. and they sacrifice to. All that is, you know, made, you know, made, you know, in the forefront or made plain to the Lord because He sees it all. All right, so the Lord is angry because they're the one that's pushing out the wickedness and why the earth is in the condition it's in. All right, the creatures are mourning, the earth is mourning. There has to be a change. That's why the Lord is so determined, because each day, all right, the Lord is hearing the sighing and crying of His people, and He's seeing it and seeing the condition of His creations. All right, you know, crying unto Him. All right. I just want to get one more thing in Zephaniah 3:8, the word for determination in the NLT, which is to mean judgment, justice. That's the word, right? Determination, right? Judgment, justice. All right, the act of deciding a case. So the Lord has acted and decided that He's gonna destroy these nations. That was His conclusion. The same way how it was in the time of Noah, how the Lord that He made the decision. He acted and decided that the earth needs to be, you know, drowned and flooded. The Lord's decision now is to ultimately drown the earth in fire. Or not drown the earth, but destroy these nations and nuke these different countries with, you know, fire. All right, it says process, procedure, litigation. It says case, sentence, execution, time. All right, decision and law, right, privilege, due. It says proper, fitting, measure. So the Lord saw this as proper, fitting. All right, custom, matter, plan. So yeah. All right, the Lord is in the midst. Okay. Because we are coming into a world war. All right, and to prove it, this is Revelation. We know that y'all don't read Revelation, right? This Revelation 9 is quick. 9 and 12 says, one war was passed, World War 1. And behold, there come two wars more hereafter. So World War 1, World War 2, and ultimately ran coming into World War 3. You even have nations and news reporters saying that we're in World War 3. Countries, and they're saying that we're in World War 3. And that was even before, you know, what was going on with, you know, Iran and Israel and the United States. All right, now it's more evident that we're in it. It was more like a soft launch, but now we're gearing forth, and we're headstrong. All right. You know, but with that alone, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bashim, Al-Shah, Bashim, Hakwadash, and the bonus city of